I got stuck doing development of my very own game in Unreal Engine. And I've been thinking a lot about this, and I just wanted to put it together in something that makes sense, that might actually be beneficial. I'm going to keep this very pure and very raw and honest. So this is what I came up with. So in a very short story, I started using Unreal about 6, almost 7 years ago now, and I started learning it as primarily 3D tool. So something that would enable me to make my own scenes, stuff that I've envisioned, because I've always really been good when it comes to imagination. And I've been working as a video professional. I've been working as an editor, as filmmaker and photographer before. But the thing that really was missing from my life was the ability to create this fantasy worlds, this stuff, right? So this thing that I saw in my mind and I was really passionate about back from gaming, like from very old days when I was playing Total War or Warcraft 3. I've always loved fantasy themes, right? So anything from Lord of the Rings to anything sci-fi to anything Game of Thrones, right? So this was really always kind of like my thing. And this was the reason why I went into Unreal. And it was a really good thing that I did because it became a very useful job skill. Because a couple of years later, I've actually started leading a creative team because I work as a creative director in mobile gaming, and we've pushed our entire 3D production on Unreal Engine. It was really good and very useful for us because we're dealing with simulators and we deal with a lot of like outdoors in 3D, so like huge landscapes and stuff. And this is where Unreal really shines, and it became a very cool thing, right? All that expertise that I've had from before allowed me to kind of push the team into a workflow that I think was better and faster, and we're still using it today. And as I was learning slowly, I started going for, development. I did a tutorial here. Did this really simple game of like cubes coming to me and shooting them. Just follow the YouTube tutorial. That was really super fun and really awesome. And I've loved it. I really did. And then Lyra came out and I got excited and I kind of deep dived into everything. Like I kind of like learning complex stuff. And I'm realizing that I love it to a point where I kind of prove myself that I'm able to figure it out, at least somehow. And this is the thing that, development is really not a one-person game. You can invest a lot. And what I realize now is that I've invested all of my free time into Unreal over the past few years. Like this is really the one creative personal project that I've had for a very, very long time. I mean, I've loved it. It's been great. Just the thing is that what I kind of slowly started realizing is that the technical limitations started to annoy me way more and more and more. And I think the last thing that was really annoying for me was when I actually managed to get a build of my game to play on local LAN on Mac, not on PC, because transitioning to a PC, the whole project that had like, I had no idea how to do it. There were so many problems. But the thing is, I wanted to do like a mobile build for this. I wanted to share it with people like on Android, on iOS, right? To send out the test flight invitations to just actually get some feedback on the thing that I was building. And then I got stuck, and it was days, and then it was weeks. And I actually have a friend who's a not a web developer, an iOS developer, and he helped me make a build, but the build was empty. There was nothing inside. It was just 150 megabytes of black. Like, what the fuck? Seriously. And, it's been killing me. And I tried to kind of figure out why it was killing me, because I actually did spend years going through tutorials trying to figure it out. And as a non-developer, it's not an easy thing to do, right? The building 3D stuff was the fun part for me because it was my vision and making something happen, but not doing the small tweaks, getting some functionalities to work, because it's not what I'm passionate about. And ultimately, I realized this is not what I want to do. So I kind of know that most solo developers are primarily either artists that become developers or developers, because you need to start coding things to actually happen. And I just came back from a conference now, and I was speaking with a lot of people, and there was a lot of discussion about publishing. And we realized that the thing that mostly people that self-publish any sort of game or creative thing miss is a story, a brand, right? Something that people can relate to. Whereas for me, that was kind of like the logical thing that you first do, because you need to have an idea, like a story, a character, something that's going on that then people will play, because nobody will just get hooked to a new game just for the mechanics itself, right? A shooter is a shooter, right? An explosion can be better or worse. The effects can be better or worse, but overall you care about the games you care about because of the story, right? That's the whole reason why you're playing them. And as I was sitting at this conference, actually kind of hit me that that's exactly why I wanted to develop my game in the first place, because I wanted to get to a point where I would have something of mine, where I wouldn't be employed at a studio, and I could actually develop the story, the narrative of the game myself, right? So the whole reason as to why I started building my game was to have a prototype, because I didn't have somebody to do it for me, to get a prototype to kind of launch that very first project that would get some funding, some money. And through that, I could then become the narrative designer, right? The person that creates these worlds and becomes the creator, not the coder, not the developer. And I think this was a very huge realization for me, because the thing is, it was starting to making me miserable. And I think this is really bad, right? Like a personal project should kind of hype you, make you feel so awesome. And this was starting to kill me, because I got to a point where it started to get very tough. And honestly, I don't feel like investing any more of my time and effort into learning how to code and develop this stuff. That's not what I'm good at. It's something that I honestly don't enjoy. So I was just like, why do this, right? There's other things. And recently what happens was, in the last 2 years especially, also because of like my professional situation, because I work as a creative in gaming, so I need to use a lot of creative tools to produce content fast. We started using and learning a lot about AI and generative AI tools. Now a lot of you is going to be like, AI, I'm done, the video over, cut, done, see you later. That's fine. Like if you feel like that, go for it. But the thing that I want to kind of show is, for somebody like me who lives in the ideation, I realized that the reason why I started learning Unreal was to be able to ideate my thoughts in a visual format to be shareable with other people. And that's the whole reason why I got into Unreal. And then I went, a step further and just started complicating. And now with generative AI, it got actually so good, and I've learned so much about it, that I can visualize my ideas super quickly into something that's actually tangible, because my head is like seriously like shitting stuff every day. Like I make up things for a living, right? That's really not the problematic part for me, and I really enjoy this part of creative process. It's more, I don't know, realizing now like which parts I want to focus on. And I did a lot of thinking over the past few months, and I haven't really touched Unreal and didn't do anything about it, just because I wanted to figure out what was the thing that I was supposed to do, and what were the things where I was supposed to let other people do. Does that make sense? Because it really is that. It really is that thing that's important, that drives you. Whatever you do needs to be like a push. A personal project needs to get you like so hyped you can't sleep because you're thinking about it, right? When you wake up, there's got to be something amazing about it. And for me, that just wasn't it anymore, right? Development itself. But what I realize now is that I still got to a point where I do have a playable game, but what is missing is that very core thing I wanted to do in the first place, which was the game story. So I've decided actually now to start working on the story and to stop doing the development, because it is there, it's some kind of like a proof that it's working. But instead, I'll rather just focus now on the stuff that I really like, which is making content, like inventing these worlds, inventing these fantasy situations, making these cinematic fake trailers, videos and stuff about the worlds and situations that I see, and just focus on that. Because I don't know, I always somehow thought everybody's good at this stuff, and this is something anybody can do. Like, because it's easy, just make something up. To me, it really does come natural. So, and I realized that people actually are not like that. Not all of us anyways, right? And people are looking for people like me to collaborate with, like to fill in this part, just like how I'm looking for somebody on the development side to kind of help me push these things into an actual project. And I've actually made a good step. Like I've decided to try and find a freelancer who will help me develop this, at least to a point where I would like it to be, to kind of release it to people, right? To add those functionalities, because the design part really, like, I love it and it comes easy to me. And that's implementation part, especially when it comes to coding, I just can't do it, right? So you know, I don't have that much time, free time in my life, given everything that goes on, and it's just like I really want to strategically invest it into whatever makes sense, or whatever doesn't make sense. I'm just not going to do it anymore. It just doesn't make that much sense. Which doesn't mean I'll stop working on it. I'm just going to be a little bit smarter, because really, uh, you need to know in every project where you're good at, and there's very few things in life where you can do them as a single person. There's all, like, most of the things that we can do, like, that have impact, are team sports, right? Team projects. That's what I meant. Like, you need other people, and I kind of felt ridiculous realizing that I wanted to become a developer, to code my own game, to release the game, to build a business, to run a business, so that I could hire myself as the person doing the creative. Which is kind of a ridiculous thing, right? Because like, you do all that other stuff just to be able to then put yourself in a position where you get to do the narrative. Like, instead of, I should just focus on building narratives. And hopefully I'll be able to find people who will be looking for that and partner with those people that are good at what they do. And I don't know, maybe this doesn't make sense. Probably didn't stick to the end of this video, but I just wanted to share this really because I do think there's nothing wrong with any creative process, with anything that you invest your time in. Like, there is no bad investment in learning. There's not. Everything that you invest in, like in my case, when I've invested in Unreal, I'm now leading a team that's using it professionally for production. So anything that I've learned enables me to can then guide people to execute on creative ideas that the creative team is pushing to the production. And but it is important to realize when you're at a point where this is not something you should be pursuing, when it just kind of becomes too heavy, doesn't feel natural, doesn't feel like it. Like, it really is about feelings here. It's not about doing the smart thing. Like, if we were all smart 15 years ago, we would all become programmers because that was the smart thing to do. If we were all smart, we'd all be trading crypto because it's the smart thing to do, or it was, or whatever, right? The same thing with AI. Not everybody will be developing AI. It's just using it to fill the holes that you've had in your life. And in my case, my personal case, this was actually generative AI that's helping me now visualize these things that I couldn't do before, because I didn't have nor the time, nor the budget, nor friends who would do those things for free, right? So for me, this really is the only way to kind of put things out into the world that as I see them and as I like them. So I've decided to start sharing more again, but not so much on the technical side and on the progress, but actually on the soft side of things. Like, how do you feel in the background when you're pushing for ideas, for workflows and stuff? Because YouTube is full of tutorials and not so full of the soft stuff, as I like to call it, right? So how are you feeling? How do you push yourself? When do you give up or like pivot to something different? And just kind of like realizing that it's okay, right? You need to evolve and go through things. So I don't know. I have some experience in this because I really have been going through different creative industries throughout the last 15 years. And I want to share a little bit more on that topic, and possibly it will help somebody else out there, right? But bottom line, that's it for now for me. I'm focusing on creative and I'm really pushing that. And it makes me feel excited just thinking about it. So if you're curious, stick along and hopefully get me some feedback on what I'll be doing, and just sharing it with me, because I will be developing the story and the brand for the game, and I'll be using the gameplay that I have to kind of package it into something and hopefully get some external support to push it to the market in the shape that it is right now. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll change again in a couple of weeks or months. But for now, this is it. I just wanted to share this part of the process. Ciao.